Welcome back to the channel. So I already recorded this video, but I went back and listened to it, and OBS was glitching and basically destroyed the audio. So hopefully this works better because I restarted my computer and hopefully that fixed everything. Because, I mean, that fixes everything, right? Turn it off, turn it back on again. All right, so I had requests that I do a printing guide for Codex I, Ordinian. I kind of already did that, but I'm not really happy with how it turned out, and also it's sort of lumped into another video, so it doesn't matter. I just want a standalone printing guide to Codex Ordinian. So here it is. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's print up the Codex. Now, in the description of this video, there is a link to this drive folder here, Codex I Ordinian, and it's got all of the files in it that you are going to need. So you're going to want to go ahead and open it up, and then you're going to want to download it. So again, link is going to be in the description. You're going to go ahead and download that. All of these files for the Codex I, they were made by Tom Dullemond, who on BGG goes as Kakotopos. All right, Kakotopos, yes. I said it right this time. All right, perfect. All right, so I got these files from him. These are not mine. The Codex II files, they are mine, but these, I just grabbed them from him, put them into a nice, easy to understand format, and made a link. So yeah, so good on him. Huge shout out to him. This is, like, his work is phenomenal. And he's the one who explained this to me on Board Game Geek as to exactly how to do this. So yeah, props to you, Tom. We're going to go ahead, and now that the files have downloaded, we're going to go to makeplayingcards.com, and we're going to go to playing cards, start your design, and then we're going to want to custom blank cards. So we're going to be designing the front and the back in the US mini size. So we're going to go ahead and go there. And then we're going to choose linen because Twilight Imperium cards are linen. We're going to do a deck of up to 90. There are 54 cards for the Codex I. We're going to do up to 90 because the next option is up to 36, and that obviously won't work. So up to 90, which impacts the price a little bit. It means that we're printing for $9.15 instead of $10.95 is the idea per deck. Then we're doing full color print. We're going to do NPC game card finish, shrink wrap, unless you want them in a box, but I don't know why you would. I'd just get them shrink wrapped. And then we're going to go ahead and start our design. Now, the next step is to choose how many cards we are printing. Again, there are 54 cards in Codex I. Here is where you would make changes if, let's say, you didn't want to print the Ordinian cards. So there's 2 Necrovirus tech cards in this codex. If you don't want to print those, you're just not interested in the scenario, you can bring this down to 52. But 54 for all of the cards, the eroded text, the Omega components, all of it, we've got 54 cards. And they each have different on all the fronts. So we're clicking right there on different images. It'll pull up a screen like this. You can go ahead and name your project and save it. I'll go ahead and just call this, let's see, Codex I. I'm going to have so many Codex I projects. Let's just say test. And then go ahead and hit save, just so that if your computer crashes or something crazy, you can pull back your work. All right, before we upload the images, let's go ahead and open them up, extract the files. I probably should have done this while this was working, but you know, I'm still frazzled from the OBS thing, so that's gonna be my excuse. All right, so we've got the unzipped files here. We've got action cards, Omega faction text, Omega Promissory Notes, and Omega Technologies. So again, if you don't want any of these, if let's say you just don't want to bloat the action card deck, but you really want the text, you can just print the text. That's totally okay. But before you do that, you're going to want to go ahead and open up the text, open up backs, and then select all. And then you're going to want to rotate these all clockwise once, which once it's done, it should put the tech icon in the bottom left corner of the card. This is just because of the way Make Playing Cards rotates horizontal files when you put them in the templates. It's just going to make it easier so that you don't have to rotate it in their system. So the backs of the text, make sure that the icon is in the bottom left corner. All right, let's go ahead and go back, because we also have to do that for the faction text. So select all the backs and then rotate clockwise. Make sure it's clockwise. Make sure that the icon ends up in the bottom left corner. If you are printing the Ordinian Necrotech, there is one that is a unit upgrade, so it won't have an icon, but it will match. So the Necro L shape will be the same on both of the card backs. All right. So that is all of the changes we have to make to those files. Despite being I have a degree in computer engineering, I could not figure out how to rotate files in Google Drive. Not really sure why that was a thing. I'm sure that if I looked at it, I could figure it out, but honestly, I already have put enough work into this. So let's go ahead and just work on this for now. All right, so I like to do the backs of the cards first. You can do either one. Technically, this says customize front, but it won't change anything. So I put the backs of the cards on first, and then on the back, the quote-unquote back of the card, I put the front of the card. But it doesn't really matter. So we're uploading the back image of the action card right now. There are 20 action cards that come with this codex. We're going to go ahead and therefore put this in the template 20 times. So cards 1 through 20 will end up with the back of an action card. I've already done this so that we can save some time. So here's my saved project for the actual codex cards. As you can see, cards 1 through 20 are action cards. And then I went ahead and put in the Ghosts of Creus, the Embers of Muat, the 2 Necrotechs, and then the Yin Tech. And then I went through and put in all the generic backs. So these, if you upload them as they are in the folder, make sure you rotate them. Make sure you've got the corner in the right place. But if you upload them as they are in the folder, they will upload alphabetically. So then all you have to do is just click and drag them in alphabetical order, and that'll save you. I mean, I guess it won't really save you any time because the fronts are generic. But for these, it will actually be important that you make sure that you note the order that they are uploaded in, and then make sure that you match that with the front. That's the more important thing. I guess it doesn't really matter what order you put these colors in. But make sure you rotate the cards and make sure you put 2 greens and a red. And I just did that. Green, green, red, green, green, red. And I just went through and did all of that. So once you've got all of those card backs in, so again, action cards, faction specific, generic text, there should be 8 different colors because of Prophecy of Kings. And then you should have 5 Promissory Note backs. You can ignore this. I just messed up. I put 55 instead of 54 because I can't count. But just go ahead and make sure you've got 54 cards, and there should be 5 Promissory Notes, 3 times 8, so 24 generic faction, generic texts, 5 faction texts, assuming that you want the 2 Necrotechs, and then you should have 20 action cards. Ooh, you hear the thunder? It's raining outside. All right, next step. This won't happen for you. It's just I accidentally put in the wrong number. All right, the next step, it's going to have us add text. Wow, it's going to have us add text to these cards. Skip this. You don't add text to cards that were made for you. It's fine. You don't need to put text on it. All right, so similar thing on the blank project. I'm going to go ahead and just go through real fast. All right, we're going to come to a step that looks exactly like this. Again, we're going to do different images on the card backs, and then we're going to go ahead and upload images. And this time, let's go ahead and just grab a front image of a action card. Man, it is really coming down out there. I'm not sure how much you can hear on the audio, but there's thunder and lightning. It's monsoon season here in Arizona, so we're getting rainstorms basically 2 or 3 times a week. All right, go ahead and click and drag. Again, it's going to be the exact same thing. You don't need to rotate any images for the front, like the text. They'll go on just fine. Promissory notes, action cards, nothing needs to be rotated or messed with. Just straight upload, click and drag. Once you've done that, it should look like this. You'll have a full 20 action cards, and then you'll have 5 faction texts. Again, the order does matter. It's very important, in fact. So I did Creus, Embers, 2 Necro, and then Yin, just alphabetical order based off of the file names. And then we've got just the generic text. There's only 3 faces because they're generic on the front. So you've got Hypermetabolism, X89, and then Mage and Defense Grid. So you just keep repeating that 8 times. So Hyper, X89, Magen, Hyper, X89, Magen. And then finally, you put down the last 5, which are the Omega Promissory Notes. Alright, so once your screen looks something like mine, you'll go ahead and hit Next Step. That, again, will not pop up for you, just because I put the wrong number of cards in. We've got Add Text. Again, we're skipping that. It should not be a thing. And then we are greeted by a preview of what our cards look like. So, you can kind of think of it as if it was a hot dog bun that's like smushed down onto the table. Great analogy, I know. Basically, this edge and this edge are the same, and so they will fold together. All right, they will fold in. So this is the front, and this is the back, or back and front. It doesn't matter. But this is kind of what yours should look like. With the tech, you should have an icon in the bottom left for the back of the card, and then an icon in the top right for the front of the card. Or in my case, front and back are switched, but whatever. Again, these 2 edges are the same, so you can see the top of the tech card and the top of the tech card go together nice and easy. All right, and that's the same for all of them. You should have 3 copies for each color. You can scroll through and you can pause as necessary, but it's quite simple if you just, follow step by step. And then we've got the promissory notes. They're very easy, basically the same as the action cards. All right. Once you've done that, make sure that you check this little box. Yes, I confirm that all images, names, and other content added to my design are correct, and I own the copyrights or have full authorization to use them. Cool, good, awesome, we did it. Hit Add to Cart, and it will go ahead and add the project to your cart. I already did this because, again, I recorded this already, so let's go ahead and delete one from my cart. But the total is $15.70. And that's before shipping. So with shipping, I'd say it probably comes to about $22, or roughly as much as 1 Eldritch Horror small box expansion. So yeah, I think it's worth it. If I was to change anything, I probably would cut down on the action cards. There's a couple of them that I just don't see played, but honestly, it's a lot of fun to play with all of this stuff. It's always nice to have new stuff that comes up, and you're just like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that was a thing. I mean, that was the joy of Prophecy of Kings, right? Was we all of a sudden just had a ton of stuff that we just didn't know what to do with. And we still don't. I mean, let's be real. Nobody's really cracked it yet. But that is how you print Codex I. If you have any questions, concerns, warm, happy feelings that you just want to share, go ahead and put them down in the comments, and I will try to answer them as best I can. All right, cheers!